Remember what we learned, okay? Stay quiet.
The story opens with a young girl sitting quietly on a bench in a long corridor, clutching a Tchaikovsky vinyl. Her face and clothes are stained with blood, her eyes filled with tears, lost in flashes of haunting memories. She recalls a time when she lived peacefully with her loving father, Javier, who was determined to give her a new life, far away from violence. But that fragile peace was shattered when assassins invaded their home. They had come to kill Javier and take Eve with them. Javier was in the bathroom when the attack started. He set off a smoke bomb to create confusion and reached Eve, telling her firmly to stay quiet and hide behind shelf.
Remember what we learned, okay? Stay quiet.
Little Eve, trembling in her hiding spot, witnessed her father being overpowered by a middle-aged man. The assassins gave Javier a cruel choice: either take his own life or watch them kill both him and Eve. Javier chose to sacrifice himself, but Eve, unable to stay hidden, cried out. The assassins seized her, attempting to drag her away, but Javier fought back fiercely. Javier quickly took Eve and made a run for it, planting an explosive at the door. While escaping, he was shot twice. As the house exploded behind them, Javier shielded Eve, managing to get her safety. But his wounds were fatal. He died in her arms, and Eve was forced to witness his last breath. Back to the present, a man named Winston approaches Eve. He offers her a way out, a chance to stay with her father's family. He brings her to the Ruska Roma, where she meets the director, who takes her in and begins her training. Winston gives Eve a special coin, telling her that whenever she needs him, he'll be there. Within the Ruska Roma, Eve meets Nogi, who reveals the truth. Her father was also Ruska Roma, part of a lineage of protectors. Despite constant setbacks, Eve refuses to give up.
Tend to your wounds before you get sepsis and we have to cut off your feet.
Christ.
Nogi encourages her with words that become her mantra. If you want to win, change the terms. Improvise, adapt, cheat. Over the years, Eve sharpens her skills, becoming lethal in both ballet and Ruska Roma combat. After 12 years of relentless training, she is ready. The director leads her to a room, the final test of her training. There, she faces an experienced female operative.
I'm you. No.
Eve defeats her, proving herself as a true Kikimora assassin. During her time in the Ruska Roma, Eve meets John Wick, the feared Baba Yaga, when he visits the director. He warns her to leave this life while she still can. But Eve, hardened by loss, asks him how she can become like him. Her first assignment soon follows: protect Katla Park from kidnappers. She's given a modified 3D printed Glock 43X, but to her surprise, loaded with rubber bullets. Nevertheless, with sheer courage and precision, Eve thwarts the kidnappers and saves Katla.
A threat?
Definitely a threat.
We should get out of the way.
On another mission, after dispatching several foes with her distinctive style, Eve encounters an assassin with an X-shaped birthmark, the same mark her father's killers bore. She cuts off the assassin's arm and brings it to the director, demanding answers. The director reveals a fragile truce with the cult responsible, ordering Eve to stand down. Eve refuses, her only reply, "Done, Mama." Determined, Eve visits Winston at the New York Continental, seeking information about the assassins marked with the X. Winston initially tries to dissuade her, but seeing her resolve, he admits that an operative named Daniel Pine, possibly linked to the cult, is staying at the Prague Continental. He hands her a hard copy with Pine's details. Eve travels to Prague and checks into room 314. In the lobby, she feels the weight of countless stares from other guests, though she pays them little attention. She manages to slip into Daniel Pine's room, where she finds a terrified little girl named Ella. As Eve questions Daniel about the cult, word spreads that Eve is a taker, doubling the bounty on Pine's head. Greed consumes the assassins, and a wave of killers descend upon them. Eve and Daniel fight back fiercely, shooting their way out of the Continental.
Moving. Hallway.
Through the blur of a passing train, all that can be seen are two men brutally assaulting Daniel Pine, pinned against a cold metal wall. Eve, sprinting towards them, is ambushed, struck viciously on the head by a metal rod. Darkness consumes her as she collapses. In the chaos, Ella is snatched away, her cries drowned by the roaring train. Eve regains consciousness in a cold, sterile room. She's restrained, her wrists bound tightly. The security of the Continental stands around her, grim and unsympathetic. They suspect her of violating the sacred rules of neutral ground. But Eve, bloodied yet unyielding, pleads her innocence. She explains everything: the ambush, the abducted child, the men with the X mark. The Continental, bound by protocol, chooses to spare her life, but banishes her from their sanctuary.
Did not break any rules.
You're going to need to check out.
She escapes execution, but the scars of betrayal weigh heavily as she steps back into the merciless streets. Determined, Eve seeks out an old arms dealer named Mr. Frank, known for catering to those hunting monsters. She shows him the X-shaped scar, demanding answers about the cult. But Frank, cautious and cryptic, feigns ignorance. Instead, he distracts her by showcasing a range of weapons, designed for a big hunt. As he lays out guns, knives, and explosives, Eve senses his discomfort, but before she can press him further, the shop is assaulted. With precision and grit, She eliminates the attackers, though the shop is left in ruins. Amidst the smoke and debris, an enraged Frank finally breaks his silence. He hands Eve a marked map, pointing to a secluded location deep in the Austrian Alps, beyond Abersee and Feldkirch. That's where the cult hides. Fueled by vengeance, Eve steals a car and follows the icy roads to Hallstatt, Austria, a deceptively serene village, unaware to outsiders that every resident is an assassin loyal to the cult. As she drives in, a young boy points his finger at her like a gun. It sends a cold shiver down her spine, a symbol of the indoctrination that starts young here. She halts, steps out, and walks into a quaint coffee shop. On a shelf, she notices a Tchaikovsky vinyl, the same one her father had once gifted her. The locals watch her with quiet hostility, their stares sharp as knives. But Eve keeps her composure. Suddenly, a man enters, offers a polite smile, then, without warning, opens fire.
It's a letter. Send somebody to the restaurant.
Before she can catch her breath, the waitress alerts others. 5 more assassins charge in. Out of ammunition, Eve improvises, attaching a knife to her gun's barrel. She fights with relentless ferocity. Battling through the tavern, she scours for weapons to survive. Meanwhile, the cult's leader, known only as the Chancellor, receives word that the intruder is not yet subdued. Enraged, he orders full protocol, mobilizing the entire village to hunt Eve down. She's attacked by waves of assassins, fighting tooth and nail. But eventually, she is cornered. A woman named Lena, the Chancellor's trusted enforcer, delivers a devastating blow, rendering Eve unconscious. When Eve regains consciousness, she is dragged before the Chancellor. He mocks her efforts, convinced she has come to rescue Ella. With chilling calm, he reveals that Ella is his granddaughter, destined for a dark ritual. But Eve corrects him. She's not here for a rescue. She's here for vengeance. Her father's murder, the attempt to steal her away as a child. It was the Chancellor who orchestrated it all. The Chancellor laughs, but then he drops a devastating truth. Lena, his most loyal assassin, is Eve's elder sister. Javier had saved Eve, but left Lena behind. The revelation stuns Lena. As the siblings try to grasp the weight of their intertwined past, a gunshot rings out. Eve has broken free. Amidst the gunfight, Lena makes a fateful choice. She kills an assassin to protect her younger sister. The Chancellor watches in disbelief as Lena's buried humanity resurfaces. Eve and Lena flee to a secluded house on a hill. Lena pleads with Eve to stop, to walk away, but their brief moment of sisterhood is shattered when the Chancellor orders a strike on their location. A grenade crashes through a window.
Take them out.
I was only 9 when they told us you were dead.
The blast kills Lena instantly. Eve, though grievously wounded, survives. As flames engulf the house, Eve, consumed by rage and grief, picks up a sword. The Chancellor attempts to regroup, but when his strike team tries to report in, they are met with Eve's voice, whispering a chilling death threat. Fearing the war Eve is about to unleash, the Chancellor calls the director of the Ruska Roma, threatening all-out war. The director insists that Eve's actions are personal and not sanctioned. But to prevent escalation, she promises to send someone who can handle it. That someone is John Wick, the Baba Yaga. The Chancellor, sensing the magnitude of what's coming, orders his citizens to stand down. Let the wolf hunt the wolf, he says. When Eve and Wick finally meet, he urges her to stop. But Eve, blinded by vengeance, attacks him.
Remember what you said to me?
You told me I could leave. I'm not leaving. He killed my father.
Midnight.
After that, he warns, I will have no choice. Learning that Wick has let Eve go, the Chancellor escalates to final protocol, mobilizing every assassin in Hallstatt to hunt her down. Eve, undeterred, infiltrates an armory. When attackers close in, she uses the explosives within to obliterate them. All except one, Dex, the Chancellor's brutal enforcer, survives. Eve and Dex engage in a vicious firefight. The battle is raw, feral. Twice, Eve narrowly avoids death. As Dex prepares for the killing blow, a shot echoes. John Wick has intervened. Dex falls. With time still left till midnight, Wick takes charge. The assassins, recognizing the unstoppable force they now face, hesitate, knowing it's suicide to engage him. Meanwhile, the Chancellor attempts to flee with Ella to a hidden stronghold. He's never left his post before, but fear drives him now. As their convoy speeds away, Eve intercepts. She fires upon their car, forcing it off the road. And the Chancellor, bleeding and desperate, stumbles out. Without hesitation, Eve shoots him in the head, ending the bloodline of her family's tormentor. The mission concludes minutes before midnight. John Wick calls the director. It's finished. In the aftermath, Ella is reunited with her father, Daniel Pine. As Eve stands at the Continental steps, Winston approaches her. He smiles faintly and says, "They'll be looking for you now."